agriculture, which is the integration. In this case, talking about landscape designs, I do edible landscape designs. Because plants, they can be medicinal and edible, or just ornamental and poisonous. Mm-hmm. But for me, it doesn't make any sense to just have poisonous plants around your house when you can have things that are useful. We can have a nice arrangement here of things that are useful. Like, I'm going to explain to you just a couple of them so you get the idea. This is a very common plant, bougainvillea. Lots of people like it, lots of people grow it, very easy, on sandy soil, little water, doesn't need too much care, flowers all the time, so it's used in landscapes a lot. But very few people know that this is actually a medicinal plant, you know, so this is interesting. The darker the color of the bougainvillea flower, the more medicinal it is. And you can make a tea or a syrup with the flowers. So the reason why I integrate medicine and food into the landscape designs too is because I come to the garden through the kitchen. Mm-hmm. See, like I've been in my family, there's been restaurant business, Mexican and Italian restaurants. So, and I was a restaurant manager and I love making food. So I come to the garden through the kitchen. And so I have a lot of different edible flowers that we grow, you know, like this is Mexican sunflower. Then we have cosmos. It's also edible. Because see, most people know that the nasturtiums are edible, but there's others. Not all the flowers are edible, and the reason is because they have certain chemicals in them. Like, for example, jasmine. We use jasmine as a tea, but jasmine has a tannin, an ingredient in the plant that is not necessarily very beneficial to the body. So in order to use the jasmine for the tea, they put a process where you ferment and then rinse and ferment and rinse and ferment and rinse many times before you can use it for the tea. That's an example of one flower that you cannot just add to your salad, jasmine. Mm-hmm. But the tannin that you extract from the flower can be used with a mineral to make a natural dye, which is another topic. But see, that's my passion. My passion is, you know, what can we grow around our home that has a use? Food, medicine, fibers, natural dye, wood, natural insect for the body, beauty treatments. So that's my passion, and that's the kind of landscape design I do. Things that are useful and beautiful.
That's wonderful. And their gardens are very, very beautiful. So maybe you can talk a bit about the function of the flowers. Why are they important in gardening? Also, of course, they have medicine.
Yeah, besides their medicinal and edible uses, flowers attract beneficial insects, mm-hmm. especially if you're talking about things like marigolds. This has edible petals, mm-hmm. but also attracts beneficial insects.
Do flowers have nutritional value?
Some of them do have like digestive properties, but it's mostly for their beauty, you know, for the color that they add to your salads. And that you can decorate, but you can eat the decorations.
I heard once that they have the energy of the sun in there and that you can eat.
Yeah, well, but the leaves have that too.
All that, yeah.
Yeah, and well, some people think that they're a little aphrodisiac because really the flowers are the reproductive organs of the plant. Mm-hmm. You know, so they're also very, very feminine, and they're very nurturing. Like I use roses. Mm-hmm. I use roses a lot, and I use roses on tea. Like I have different female balancing blends. They use roses, and also, you know, there is. Like the flowers of Bach, for example. So there is a whole science on the medicinal properties of flowers.
Well, so we should do a video just on flowers. So maybe it's quite a simple question, but maybe you can explain why eating organic and growing organic is so important to us humans, to the earth.
Well, first of all, like I was saying before, I mean, the earth really is alive. You know, it's full of microorganisms. It's completely alive. So when you're putting the chemicals, you're killing her. Like when I talk to the indigenous people here, I say, your Pachamama, Mother Earth, is your mother, and she carries you on her back. Why do you poison her, right? It's like that, you know, we're really an extension of the earth, like our body is made out of the earth. It's like we're seeded from spirit, and then we make these human bodies with the earth and the things we eat. So I laugh because when I prepare food, I put always flowers and I make it beautiful, and people is like, "Whoa, it's so beautiful! I don't even want to eat it." I go, "No, if we are what we eat, we must eat beauty." You know,
and it shows. It works. Yeah, let's also talk a bit about a fertilizer. How can you use, or do you use fertilizer, and the natural fertilizer?
Yeah, I definitely do. Well, first of all, backing up a little bit in the fumigation. The fumigation, we put integrated pest management, and that's why I also plant flowers in key places. Like usually the taller flowers on the edge of my vegetable gardens, and also as companion with my fruit trees. But also herbs play an important role, and so I prevent pest problems that way. And also I have key herbs that I make the preparation against insects to just keep a balance. Now, in my gardens you're going to find insects, but they're not a pest. So there's a difference. You know, insects are healthy in the garden. You know, even the ones that are considered bad, it's healthy to have them in a small quantity. It's just like in the body, you know, you have a whole, like a complex mix of things, you know, and some of them can be considered bad when they grow in excess, you know, in excess. So the same thing in the garden. So now talking about the fertilization, well, there's different things, you know. When I start a garden, I plant virgin soil. What does that mean? You know, in the forest, in places where nothing has been planted, there is virgin soil, full of microorganisms, super rich. Most of the properties that we live in today, they don't have primary forests. They are places that have been, the original plants have been cut many years ago. A few things are growing now, but they are not the original ones. So there is already a certain impact that has been created on that land. So some of the life is dying off. For the compact of us walking, the machines that we bring in, the times that we cut the plants. So bringing virgin soil is, you go to the mountain, bring a small quantity of soil of a place that never been farmed or garden, and that's going to be full of like good microorganisms. So you bring this to your property and you plant it in certain points, like maybe like, let's say in 5 points, in the 4 directions and in the center. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a net on the ground. You have your helpers under the ground. You're going to create a net of mycelium, which is kind of like a fungal, but it's like that's going to benefit to bring life back into the soil. So that's one. Then the other one is you plant earthworms. This the variety of the red Californian worms, and you plant that in certain points in your property to increase the fertility. And I have a series of techniques I utilize to bring fertility back. And so I'm just gonna like give a quick overview, but it will be very long. We'll have to do a course on that. But I also use creating symbols. You know, symbols, we talked about this earlier, symbols that have a meaning to you. Whether you're Christian or Buddhist or whatever religion you are, there are certain symbols that you have a connection, an energy connection with. So if you make your garden in the form of the symbol, this is going to increase the energy and it's going to benefit the growth of your plants. So like, let's say an Om symbol or a medicine wheel, or the heart chakra, or things like that. So that's the vibration of the form. Then you have the vibration of the sound. Every so often I will tell a friend, I'll give you a basket of produce, come and please play music for my plants. Really, and I see the difference. You know, it's like they respond to this sound vibration. There's been many studies on this, and ancient tribes like the Mayans used to use the sound vibration for the growth of their plants. I mean, even right now you're hearing the cicadas, cicada, the little insect that sound, cicada, chicharras in Spanish. Well, the sound of this, what it does, it also helps to open up the cells of the plants to receive the moist and the nutrients of the air. So everything is interconnected. So if you go out, and that's why, you know, like the old ladies, they say, you know, when they talk to their plants grow better. Well, it's the sound vibration of their voice with the energy that carries towards the plant. I mean, you can even like do gardening by meditating with your plants. You're just in front of them, you're sending them energy, and you're gonna feel the energy comes back. And if you do a little experiment, you go to a certain section of your garden more than another, you're gonna see the difference of how plants grow. So that's agriculture.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and you can taste it as well in the food. I mean, I can only imagine how the food that you buy in the supermarket, which is organic, is totally different from what grows here. I mean, it's probably mostly monoculture.
Well, yes, there's a big difference between the food that you buy and the food that you grow. But if you don't have a space for growing anything, please buy organic. Because the moment that you buy something that it has chemicals that harm the earth, you're investing on the destruction of the earth. And this applies on all of your choices, you know. So buying organic food is very important. And the next level is growing it. And then growing it with consciousness, beyond organics. That's why I was talking about the vibration of the energy, the meditation, your connection, your love. You know, this is very, very important.